Hey guys, sorry I missed last month's monthly report. Things be wild. If you watch the Twitch stream, then you know what I'm talking about. But here we are. It's a new year. The studio is hard at work. We're approaching the next update, and your favorite tomato is here to give you the interesting bits, in my own opinion, on January's monthly report. Let's check it out. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. The AI content team spent January working on early versions of the engineer, hygiene, hawker, and tourist behaviors. This will allow for AI in the verse to come more alive with a variety of systemically triggered activities that are simulated in the background when you're not there and physically visible and interactive when you are. The AI feature team has spent time developing the flight AI to use functionalities apparent to the player, such as initiating a quantum jump or transitioning between SCM and extreme speeds. The first true pilot traits have also seen some work beginning in order to help diversify and personalize your interactions with combat AI out in the verse. Something that we've seen in the past is also being developed for FPS AI. The AI tech team worked a lot on subsumption behaviors and logic. For those who don't know, subsumption is the process in which an AI will follow a cycle of observing, processing the data observed, and executing a response action. This is colloquially known in robotics as the sense-think-act cycle, and will dictate how we ultimately interact with and are affected by the various AI in Star Citizen. The character art team has finished all of their April update tasks in January, so now they're able to get a little bit more ahead on the July update. They've been working on things like several new suits of armor, medical outfits, and modular backpacks that won't be tied to a specific armor set. The environment art team is beginning to work on new outpost types to further diversify the inhabited areas dotting the current star system. They are in pre-production though, and probably won't be seen for some time. The Stanton Polish Pass also continues with work on the new cave types and asteroid types that will be found around the verse. The floating city of Orison has also begun reaching the final art stage in several areas, on schedule for release this July. Hopefully. The US ship art team worked on a community favorite vehicle, which is scheduled to release for later this year. This is likely the Nova tank given the nomenclature, but could be something else I'm not thinking of. The final touches were also put towards Redacted 400i. And the Constellation Taurus is seeing more work towards an April release. Weapons art has forced me into an early breakup with the Lightning Bolt company with this Volt Parallax Electron rifle. It's currently midway through its development cycle, while the Novia crossbow was moved from final art to the tech art phase, approaching a full rollout as the first purely kinetically based weapon in the game. This is actually a cross-promotional item with the game Shroud of the Avatar, developed by a friend of Chris Roberts, if you didn't know. Now what I'm really hoping for with this weapon is that we see a new damage type, or the possibility of tracking arrows. Imagine being able to shoot an arrow into a ship as a bounty hunter in order to track it with an object that might not be detectable by the pilot. Very cool possibilities with a weapon like this. And finally, the multi-tool healing attachment has been revealed, scheduled for release in April. The cutter tool has been announced to be a separate object from the multi-tool we currently use, even though on the roadmap it still claims to be part of the multi-tool. Between the Cure Life medical gun, the medical attachment, the cutter now, and the cutting attachment, I think it's safe to say that every one of these things is going to have its own standalone object as well as a multi-tool attachment, which is very nice in terms of detail for the game. The Firestorm Kinetics mother of all bombs also received more work, and a brand new unannounced ship weapon started to see development. Choo-choo! That's all I really know in terms of engine stuff, honestly. Okay, really. From the engineering section, which I admittedly am not very good at understanding, there were some impressive optimizations made to improve the speed by 2.5 times on Intel machines and 2 times on AMD machines. The existing EVA system was replaced with a more robust system, as our suit systems are moved to the same IFCS system that ships use and missiles will eventually use. Focus was returned to the Gen 12 renderer after a small hiatus in December, and work was also done on the volumetric cloud system. The meat of the updates. The gameplay team continued work on the new reputation system, a monthly regular since last summer. It does not have a defined release period yet, but I expect to see it in the next 2 patches, as the engineers of the team began to implement the reputation system itself, which has already started to take effect in the most recent update. Work was also resumed on the asset manager, which will allow players the ability to overview and filter the various assets under the ownership of that player. There are a couple other features that need to be done before this feature can be in the game. First, physical persistent inventories will need to be completed, meaning you'll be able to store things and they'll stay where you stored them, or if you need to use something, you'll have to have it physically present with you. And second, the iCache conversion will need to be complete, which would be a huge milestone for the game on its own. This is scheduled to be in the game in July, so hopefully it will remain on schedule. On the mission side of things, a new quantum-sensitive variant of the cargo delivery missions has been completed. We've already seen this start to happen in the Xenothread event currently running in the game. However, I'm hoping to see a complete overhaul of cargo at some point to make these delivery missions tie into the normal cargo system. The spawn closet feature, which will allow NPCs to spawn out of view and come in to populate game areas, is also being worked on and scheduled for an April release. The vehicle feature team pushed hard for docking to enter the game in April, and the missile system saw focus on its transition to IFCS, which will stop missiles from doing weird things like orbiting ships, theoretically. The lighting team worked primarily on Orison, the floating city. It seems to hit a style that falls somewhere between utilitarian and high-tech. Definitely has a much more loud and proud style than the other planets, and I welcome the diversity. Narrative is becoming a much more important part of the game as basic game systems begin to be complete and more of these story-based, lore-based events start to happen. In January, they worked on creating content for dynamic missions and events that will be in the game soon, as well as implementing lore information into the reputation system, which I love. As somebody who really enjoys lore, I'd like to see it put into the game anywhere it can be. The team also published a report on the new leader of the UEE and how she's doing in the role so far. It doesn't have any important info, but it's an interesting read, and I think the developers are taking the chance to set the stage for any number of changes in the future. This is a new section in the report this month. Expect to start seeing it regularly as it will be covering systemic things. Work right now is mainly on the quantum simulation system, which we will see more of soon. But the Super P-Cache also saw work completed and passed on to QA. Honestly, I have no idea what that is. It's the first I'm hearing of it, but it certainly has to do with the P-Cache to iCache conversion, which covers the storing and tracking of all items in the game. The tech animation team started off the year with creature-based animations and work on additional mission givers, which we haven't seen in quite some time. Last month, UI began programming the underlying system that will allow for, get this, a new star map, which was mentioned in the August monthly report and is now again confirmed to be receiving work alongside the radar, interior map, and mini-map interfaces. All the maps, folks, we couldn't be getting better news. According to the report, it will only be several months until they are seen in the game. This will most likely coincide with the radar scanning and ping being brought to ships and FPS scheduled for July. They also worked on the various cockpit UI we can expect in Aegis ships soon, and the hacking UI used for the new profession. vehicle team also worked on scanning and ping improvements in January. As with most features, this feature needs to be worked on by several teams before being implemented. VFX as well worked on radar, scanning, and ping. Clearly, this is a wide-reaching and important feature. It is known. Work also began on the moons of Pyro, and the VFX requirements for thruster wind volumes are being explored to provide more realistic reactions from dust, foliage, and players when a ship is landing nearby. This is in addition to the basic reactions from thruster force that are already in the game. And that does it for what I find to be the interesting bits of the January development. Keep in mind, January is typically a slow month, so this was a shorter report. Any favorite things? Let me know in the comments, or even better, join my Discord server to chat more and play the game, and maybe even join a future organization as well. Also remember, I'm always giving away Star Citizen ships either down in the video description or over on my Twitch stream, which you can find me streaming on either Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday. And keep an eye out for that secret code I've embedded in most of the videos this month, as it's an easier way for you to get some points towards that giveaway. And if you guys would like to support me, Patreon is the best way. You can always hop over there, check out the perks you might get, and support my family for as low as $1 a month. Whatever you decide to do though, thank you for being here. I hope you'll subscribe to see more in the future as I cover additional Star Citizen content, and I'll catch you in the next one.